It was late at night. Moonlight streamed through Liwei's window, casting long shadows and highlighting his still meditating figure. The faint blue energy around him had grown stronger. Now it was fully enveloping him like an aura. Liwei thought, the more they tried to contain me, the more I must break free. This power isn't just mine. It is my father's legacy. Suddenly, he remembered his father, Li Shun, standing proudly in a similar stance. He, too, was surrounded by a blue energy field, but far more powerful than anything Liwei had ever seen. Liwei thought, he said, the purity of the primeval azure phoenix lies in the heart and will. Do not let it be tainted by the thirst for power. The door to Liwei's room creaked open. Lingyu entered silently, walked up to his desk, and placed a small box down. She didn't say a word, only nodding to Liwei before leaving just as quietly. Lingyu thought, he will need this. A little hope might help. Liwei slowly opened his eyes. He looked at the box on the desk and then at the door through which Lingyu had left. He could feel the sincerity of her gesture. Liwei thought, she truly believes in me. He reached out and slowly lifted the lid. Inside was an old parchment scroll and a small vial. The scroll radiated a warm, familiar energy. Liwei thought, this is a cultivation manual and a potion. He picked up the vial. The cap was engraved, D with a mysterious symbol that he had never seen before. Liwei thought, this is a mystery, and it holds a far more potent energy than any potion I've ever known. He carefully unrolled the parchment. The text was written in an ancient language that he couldn't read. Yet as he brushed his fingers over the faded ink, a stream of information flowed directly into his mind. It was the Breaking Dawn scripture, a high-level cultivation manual that focused on refining and strengthening primeval energy. Liwei thought, this is a cultivation method that resonates with the primeval azure phoenix energy. Lingyu. His heart pounded as he clutched the scroll and the vial. A look of fierce determination and gratitude filled his eyes. He knew the risk that Lingyu had taken to bring this to him. Just then, a cold, emotionless voice echoed through the room. Liwei, are you enjoying the gift that Lingyu brought you? You know, she risked her life to bring you these treasures, didn't she? Such bravery, such devotion. If only she hadn't died. A tall, imposing figure stood framed in the doorway, his face obscured by the shadows. Beside him stood two stern-faced guards. One of them held a long spear that glinted dangerously in the moonlight. The other gripped a strange, ornately carved staff that hummed faintly with energy. Liwei thought, Cheng Ying, what a surprise. To what do I owe this pleasure? He didn't even bother to hide his mocking tone. Cheng Ying stepped into the room, his eyes gleaming with a cold light. You shouldn't be so smug, Liwei. You're just a lab rat now, a plaything for us to amuse ourselves with. Your freedom, your life, it's all at our mercy. He approached Liwei, his gaze burning with a cruel intensity. Tell me, does the little rabbit still intend to resist? Or has it finally been tamed? Liwei's grip tightened on the scroll and vial. His eyes flashed with anger and determination. Don't you dare underestimate me, Cheng Ying. Just because I haven't shown my cards yet doesn't mean I don't have any. You'll regret this, Cheng Ying. You and everyone else who thinks they can control me. Cheng Ying laughed, a harsh, humorless sound that echoed through the room. Oh, how predictable. The fools in the sect thought you were special, but you're just another pawn in our game. You haven't broken free of your restraints yet. How can you threaten us? He snapped his fingers, and the two guards flanking him stepped forward, their gazes cold and hard. Take him away. Let's see if he still has that spirit when he's locked up in solitary confinement. As the guards closed in on Liwei, he continued to stare defiantly at Cheng Ying. You may win this battle, Cheng Ying, but I will have my revenge. Mark my words. Cheng Ying sneered. You can't threaten us. We have you exactly where we want you. So enjoy your little victory. Liwei, enjoy it while you can because it won't last. With that, he turned and walked away, leaving Liwei seething with anger and resentment. Liwei knew that Cheng Ying was right. He hadn't broken free of his restraints yet. He was still trapped in this prison, still vulnerable. But he also knew that he had something that Cheng Ying and his goons didn't. Hope. Hope that he would one day be free. Hope that he would one day expose the conspiracy. And hope that he would one day avenge his father and protect his mother. Until then, he would bide his time, gather his strength, and wait for his chance to strike back. All right, a web of conspiracy. As the first rays of sunlight touched the horizon, Liwei opened his eyes. Round him, there was still a faint mist, a light blue color swirling slowly. He'd spent the whole night in deep meditation, cultivating the techniques from the Breaking Dawn scripture. He could feel that the energy within his body wasn't just greater in amount, but also more condensed and pure. As he got up, he heard footsteps outside his door and instinctively hid the scroll and the vial in a secret space. Within the room, as the door opened, Elder Sun stepped in. He was the head of the inner sect, accompanied by 2 young disciples. His gaze swept over Liwei, sharp and appraising. Liwei, Elder Sun spoke, his voice like rolling thunder. I have come to check on your cultivation progress. Liwei stood up, meeting their gazes calmly. I only did what my guide taught me. Elder Sun nodded, his expression unreadable. Then he reached out, pressing a palm into the center of Liwei's chest. The intent behind it was clear, to gauge the energy within Liwei's danshan, or energy center. Liwei remained still as Elder Sun probed, a faint smile playing on his lips. After a long moment, Elder Sun withdrew his hand. His eyes narrowed slightly. You seem to have progressed very quickly, he said, a hint of surprise in his voice. Your energy is unstable yet surprisingly potent. Liwei replied respectfully. I only did what my guide taught me. Elder Sun turned, beckoning to the disciples to follow him. I believe you have something that belongs to the clan, he said, holding out a hand. Liwei looked at the vial in his hand and back at Elder Sun. His instincts screamed at him, telling him that something was wrong. The energy surging from the pill was harsh and chaotic, a stark contrast to the pure energy of the primeval azure phoenix. Liwei bowed slightly. Thank you, Elder Sun, but my body is still adjusting to my newfound power. I do not wish to risk harming myself with such a powerful elixir just yet. Elder Sun's eyes narrowed slightly. A flash of annoyance crossed his face before he schooled his expression. A wise decision, perhaps. But do not waste your talent. The clan expects great things from you. We will return tomorrow. With that, he turned and left, the 2 disciples following close behind. As soon as they were gone, Liwei let out a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding. He pulled out the parchment scroll. The wooden token in his hand glowed brighter as if in recognition. He knew they wanted to understand the nature of his power. And if they couldn't, they would try to force him to change. But he wasn't going to give them that chance. He had the Breaking Dawn scripture and old Master Feng's teachings, and he had to find out the truth about his father. Meanwhile, outside Li Wei's room, Qin Feng emerged from the shadows, his eyes gleaming with excitement. He had been listening in on Li Wei's conversation with Elder Sun. He held in his hand a small, intricately designed device, a spirit tracking compass. The needle in it was pointing steadily toward Liwei's room. He refused the true flame pill. Qin Feng murmured, a thoughtful expression on his face. A smart move. That would have disrupted his core and forced him to cultivate the clan's flame of Azure Phoenix. But he's hiding something else. What is it? Back inside, Liwei looked at the setting sun. Its fiery glow painting the sky in hues of orange and red. Shadows stretched long across the courtyard, reaching toward his room like grasping fingers. He felt a strange sense of foreboding. The walls of the clan are closing in, he whispered, his eyes hardening with resolve. But it will be my training ground, the ultimate test. And so, under the watchful eyes of the clan, Liwei began his cultivation, each breath, each movement carrying him one step further on his journey of self-discovery. What secrets would he uncover? What challenges would he face? Stay tuned to find out in the next chapter. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. Make sure to tune in next time for the continuation of Liwei's journey. Until then, stay tuned for updates. Thanks for watching. An unexpected alliance. Late at night, Liwei is practicing the movements from the Breaking Dawn scripture in his room. His body moves with a fluid, graceful strength. The blue energy around him has a new, focused intensity. Liwei thinking. The scripture isn't just about cultivating energy, it's about channeling it. Every movement is a part of the greater flow. A quick, silent knock on the door. Liwei stops. Liwei thinking. Who would be here at this hour? Liwei opens the door to see Lingyu. She is wearing dark, simple robes, and her face is serious. Lingyu whispering, Liwei, may I come in? I need to speak to you. Inside the room, Lingyu glances around nervously before sitting down. Lingyu whispering, I couldn't stay away. I saw Elder Son leaving your room earlier, did he? Did he give you something? Liwei's eyes widen in surprise. Lingyu's eyes widen with alarm. Lingyu speaking. You didn't take it, did you? That pill is. It's a trap. It's meant to overwrite your pure energy with the clan's flame of Azure Phoenix. It would have made you dependent on them. Liwei nods slowly, a grave expression on his face. He pulls out the vial Lingyu gave him. Liwei speaking. I figured as much. But because of you, I had something else. A flashback panel shows Lingyu's father, a kind-faced man, handing her the box. Lingyu's father speaking. This path is not for everyone. The clan has forgotten the way. Give this to someone who will not compromise their spirit. Back in the present, Lingyu looks at Liwei with a new sense of respect and trust. Lingyu speaking. My father always believed the clan would one day be redeemed, but he also feared the elders had gone too far. He disappeared shortly after giving this to me. He, too, was a friend of old Master Feng. Liwei speaking. Our fathers were connected. They followed the same path. A shot of the window. A shadow flits past, and Liwei's gaze hardens. It's Qin Feng lurking outside. Liwei whispering. We're not alone. We're being watched. Lingyu looks startled, but her expression quickly turns to one of resolve. She stands and faces Liwei. Lingyu, speaking. Then we must be careful. I will help you. My knowledge of the clan's inner workings can be useful. We must uncover the truth about our father. A close-up of Liwei and Lingyu's hands clasped together, symbolizing their new alliance. the wooden token in Liwei's hand and a small jade pendant on Ling Yu's belt both glow faintly with a similar blue light. An alliance. I will not fail you, Ling Yu. The truth will set us all free. A wide shot of the clan compound at night, the air thick with tension and secrecy. The moonlight illuminates Liwei's room, a small island of defiance in a sea of suspicion. Narrator text box. The path to truth was fraught with danger, but Liwei no longer walked it alone. A new power, forged in trust and shared purpose, had awakened everyone for another exciting episode of The Rise of the Phoenix. If you want more awesome content like this, don't forget to show your support. Last time we left off, Liwei was about to take his turn with the soul-purging stone. Let's jump right into it. The Elder's Test. The scene opens with a few disciples already on the ground, defeated by the soul-purging stone. Elder Sun watches them with a bored expression. He's clearly expecting better results from the younger generation of the clan. Now it's Liwei's turn. He steps up confidently, surprising no one. But what happens next shocks both the audience and the elders. Liwei places his hand on the stone, and immediately an intense struggle ensues. His face contorts in pain as his energy is violently tossed around within him. Even Lingyu looks worried, biting her lip in concern for her friend. She knows that Liwei is incredibly powerful, but the soul-purging stone is no joke. Meanwhile, Chen Han, who failed the test earlier, watches with a sneer. He thinks that Liwei will crumble under the pressure, just like the others. But as the minutes pass, it becomes clear that something is very different about Liwei. Despite the obvious pain he's in, there is no panic in his movements. He's struggling, yes, but it's clear that he's in control of his energy. Chen Han grows increasingly uneasy. As the scene progresses, we see that Liwei's flames are actively fighting back against the stone's influence. His entire energy field is alight with the primeval Azure Phoenix energy, which is not only pure, but also extremely powerful. It's like watching a raging wildfire that refuses to be contained. And then something truly remarkable happens. Liwei's flames break through the surface of the stone, causing a surge of energy to blast outward. Everyone watching is stunned by the sheer power that just erupted from Liwei. And as the dust settles, they can see that the stone has been completely destroyed. Liwei stands there calmly, his hands still outstretched. He has not only passed the test, but he did so with flying colors. The elders are shocked. They had never seen anyone pass this test, let alone destroy the stone itself. Liwei turns to leave, but Elder Sun stops him with a wave of his hand. He wants answers. Why was Liwei able to resist the stone's influence so easily? What kind of power does he possess? Liwei doesn't answer right away. He knows that this moment is going to be a turning point in his story. And when he speaks, his voice is filled with power. He tells the elders that the primeval Azure Phoenix energy that flows through him is not just unique. It's immensely powerful. He explains that this energy is capable of purifying even the most chaotic and corrupt energy. And that's why he was able to pass their test with such ease. Elder Sun is skeptical, but he can't deny the truth of Liwei's words. He's seen enough of Liwei's power now to know that he's not a threat, but an asset. In fact, Liwei's power is exactly what the clan needs to survive the coming darkness. The elders realize that they may have judged Liwei too harshly in the past. They had seen the destructive potential of his power, but they had failed to see its true potential. Now they have a chance to make things right. But will it be enough? Will Liwei accept their apology? Or has he suffered too much at their hands already? Hey, that's all for today's adventure. Liwei just showed everyone his incredible power. But how will the clan react to this new development? Find out next time when we continue our journey together. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time for more exciting content. Don't miss out.